record. Hello! Welcome to Riverfront Territory, a Cincinnati Reds podcast on the Foul Territory Network. I am one of your hosts, Trent Rosecrans, a longtime Reds beat writer now at The Athletic. And here is my co-host, this guy, Mr. Danny Graves. Look at that. Look at that.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
A little round guy.
A wobbler, I think they said. He does wobble.
Wobbler, yeah. Wobbler, it's what it's called. That's life size Danny Graves right there.
So Danny's going to be over my shoulder there. Got two dose Danny.
Short and fat. I'm so honored that you have one of those, dude.
I bought it on eBay recently.
I could have given you one. You should have just asked.
It was going to be more fun. It was worth the like $10 plus $5 shipping to just kind of throw it up here and not have it said.
I was going to say $10 and 8 of that was shipping.
It was like 15 and 7 of it was shipping. But hey, whatever. I kind of did it. I just thought it was fun. But yeah.
I'll give you $15 next time I see you.
Well, that's a good news because I'll see you next weekend. You're going to be at Reds Fest, Mr. Danny Graves.
Yes, I am.
I will be there too, but I'm not like a special guest flown in and paraded around. That's reserved for legends like Danny Graves.
Well, you live there, so you don't have to fly in. But I mean, I'm coming there to see you, dude.
Yeah. That's right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So Danny, what I was kind of like thinking we might do today is kind of look, we've done like where the Reds stand and where we kind of feel like they've been and what they've done so far, but we've yet to kind of like, I kind of wanted to look around the rest of the division because, in baseball, your division is so important. Like you see those teams the most. Those are the teams you have to beat. Like, honestly, you start out, you got to beat the bad teams in your division, and you got to compete against the good teams and let it go where it is. So those are the teams you're most familiar with, and we're going to look at it. So kind of go and see, the offseason's not done. There's still a lot of free agents out there, so it can turn around. But this is kind of like a snapshot. Like we're going to kind of look at everybody and say whether have already made their team better, they're trending downwards, or they've just kind of stood pat so far. And that's, if a guy's a free agent and hasn't signed elsewhere, it kind of has that as like up in the air, as whatever. So, I think what we'll do is we will start with the Reds, just because we've talked about this, but we can kind of do it shortly. Additions, J.J. Bleday, Dane Myers, both outfielders. Reliever Caleb Ferguson, that's a big one. Re-signed Emilio Pagan. Haven't really lost anybody yet, technically. They have the free agents in Miguel Andujar, Austin Hayes, Nick Martinez, Zach Littell, Scott Barlow, a couple others. But to me right now, they're running it back. They're the kind of the same team, and that's for a team that needs offense, they are like counting on their young players taking the next step. So I go lateral. Danny, what do you think of the Reds offseason so far?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's lateral. But just to clarify, there is still time for this to trend upwards. It's first week of January, and so hopefully the fans don't get upset with you or I by saying that it's lateral or upset with the Reds because
they can get upset at the Reds. I don't care.
Yeah, right. Just 5-star us. But So I think the re-signing of Emilio Pagan was huge. That's something they needed, but he was already a part of this team. I love the Caleb Ferguson addition, another bullpen arm. But I
and a lefty.
And a lefty, absolutely, and somebody that's been around, not just somebody that's unproven. But as far as losing anybody, no, they haven't quite yet. They just there's some free agents from the team last year that are still out there. But as of today, I think it's got to be just the same.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I mean,
next week at this time, it could be completely different.
right,
But
but your expectations are like they're going to look very similar if this is all that happens. You know, you Austin Hayes for JJ Bleday, you know, that kind of thing. It's like any increase is really almost going to have to just be like, I don't know, you know, them being more productive, younger players kind of making that next step. The Noelvi Martes, the Sal Stewarts, even
yeah,
Ellie De La Cruz, and a bounce back from someone like Matt McLean.
Matt McLean. Yep.
Plus development. So, anywho, well, like Reds, we've talked about them a lot. We know. So I think next we'll go with the Brewers. The Brewers. They've added Angel Serpa, Akili Badu, re-signed Brandon Woodruff. You know, made that trade for Zerpa with, you know, you lose Danny Jensen. You know, like, honestly, like right now, they're kind of like the Reds. You know, they're maybe a little worse just because of losing the starters, but you know, I would still go lateral, and maybe that's because I give the benefit of the doubt to the Brewers because they've proven it. Matt Arnold has done just a hell of a job the last couple of years. I've almost kind of like done the Brewers like you used to do with the Rays. Oh gosh, whose tweet was that long ago? Maybe it was Dave Cameron's. The love this trade for the Rays, who'd they get? The Brewers almost have that kind of credibility so far.
Yes, and the thing with the Brewers, you know, I mean, I would say they're lateral too. They re-signed Woodruff. I think another year of being healthy, he's going to be better this year for them. But losing the two starters, Montgomery and Quintana, I get that it could seem like it's trending downwards, but they're also not the number one or number two guys that you're looking for.
Right.
Maybe they are going to go out and try to get somebody, but this is a team that with what they have offensively, I know they're not like the sexy Milwaukee Brewers team that people think, but they're a team that offensively doesn't strike out. They put the ball in play, and they're tough outs. And Pat Murphy has done a tremendous job with these guys playing above their expectations, you know, so, and really believing that they're better than what they are. So, like, how many pieces do they need to add? I mean, they had the best record in the National League last year. Right. So, with nobody that, like, stands out. I know Churio's been really good. Terang and Sal Frelick, those guys are solid. But they don't have, like, an Aaron Judge type or a Shohei type. Like, a guy that – or an Ellie type, for so to speak. Like, nobody stands out. Everybody is good.
Yeah. And they throw the ball, they catch the ball, they hit the ball. I mean, like it's as simple as that, and they really do catch the ball, and that's big, and that helps with just because you don't have a name brand pitchers, they always do well in part because when the ball is put in play, it is turned into outs more often than not.
Yes,
and that's huge. So the Brewers are on, you know, they've been good, and you know, they're almost like the team we're about to go next, the Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals used to be the standard bearer. Every year you're like, okay, they're going to be pretty good. And, you know, the subtractions are huge here. Like, honestly, that's tells you all you need to know, that they traded Wilson Contreras and Sonny Gray. This is a team, a new president of baseball operations, new kind of front office, and taking that, I don't know, kind of where they are and rebuilding, even if they're not a complete teardown and teams don't tear down like they once did. Like, I don't know how much they have there to, like with that, sometimes the teardown, you're like, oh, well, we're going to keep these pieces. And, like, the Cardinals, you just look around and you're just like, meh. You know, it's just one of those teams that I just don't. I didn't like anybody on their team last year. Yeah, and they're worse.
Yeah, and you lose Sonny Gray. That's immediately makes your pitching staff go way down, way worse. I mean, that's how big of a deal Sonny Gray has been for the Cardinals. But like Trent, this team, what direction are they going? You're talking about a rebuild. It's almost like they are starting over because you mentioned the front office. It's all new people in the front office that's running the ship. And if you look down their depth chart, a lot of these guys, you don't know who they are. And they're talking about trading Brendan Donovan. That's been talk all season. Their all-star infielder. Like, who is this team?
Well, and that's their, like, best guy right now, and is Brendan Donovan. Like, I mean...
Right. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah.
Like,
he's your best guy?
He's your best guy? Like... I'll tell you what, Danny, like, you would have been shocked. So when we went to St. Louis this year, I'd never seen anything like it in St. Louis. It was one of those trips where it was Sacramento to St. Louis without a travel day, which was great. Loved it. I think Gordon and Mark both did a red eye, and I said, I ain't doing a red eye. No. I'll just skip pregame. So I got in a little bit later, and I got to my hotel a little bit before the game started. And because it'd been a long travel day, I showered before I went over to the ballpark. And like, I get out of the shower and I look, and it's game time. And from my hotel room, I could see the upper deck of Busch Stadium. Uh-huh. And you just see like a smattering of people, and I'm like, oh my God. I literally like turned on the TV and checked it. I was like, it's not raining. Is it in a delay? And I was like, oh no, I turned on the TV and it's just like, it's just empty. Horrible. And like, you never see that. I'd never seen that. And then like, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk over to the park. And I figured like when I got in, you would see the bottom bowl filled.
Nothing.
Oh, it looked like a Reds Marlins game on a Thursday getaway day in August. It was.
Oh my gosh.
And this was a team that still, like, actually had a mathematical shot. It was a long shot, but they could have really taken care of the Reds then, and put themselves in a better spot, and they did not, and nobody was there. It was unreal. So I'm going to be really interested to see what it's going to be like this year.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, for years and years and years, they always talked about how there's this Cardinal way. Well, I think the fans have built that to where we love good baseball, we love a good home team, and they haven't had that. Like, good baseball or their team has just been not good. So it's like the fans are really showing in St. Louis how bad they need a competitive team, and they're not getting that right now. So I don't blame them for not going.
Oh, like, I don't blame anybody. No.
Yeah, but you're going to go watch a team that has people that you don't even know or have no chance of competing in this league.
And they're not even fun to watch, like, because, you can get some teams that aren't great, but they, like, scrappy and, like, do stuff that are entertaining. Like, the Reds can be like that sometimes. And, but there are other times that teams are just boring as hell. And, like, the Cardinals were boring as hell. Yeah. I guess Nolan Arenado's still there, but
he doesn't want to be there.
He doesn't want to be there. They don't want him there. Yeah, and it's not peak Nolan Arenado.
No, definitely. And you're talking about teams that are fun. Like, even those days that the Cubs were terrible, they were always a fun team to watch and go watch at Wrigley. Mm-hmm. But this Cardinals team, it's like, what are we doing? Why are we going here? I went to a Cardinals-Royals game last year or 2 years ago in Kansas City. And, of course, Kansas City's a lot better team. But Cardinals fans used to travel. Like, you used to see Cardinals fans everywhere. And there was not many. And that's not far from St. Louis either.
Well, and it's also, like, not far from a lot of their base. Like, my family's from the middle of Missouri. So we're split. Like, they're right in the middle, and we're split. We're probably, I don't know, 80% Cardinals fans, 20% Royals fans.
Uh-huh.
And so my side was always the Royals side. And it was just like, we were overwhelmed, and it just isn't there right now. Like, my family, they're just like, this is like, it's worse than being mad. It's apathetic. And,
yes. And I grew up a Cardinals fan. My dad's side of the family lived 100 miles from St. Louis. So we were diehard Cardinals, hence the Ozzie Smith thing that I told you about last episode. And it's sickening as a baseball fan to see the Cardinals organization do this, but it's great as a Cincinnati Reds guy that the Cardinals are doing this.
Right. Right. All right. Well, let's go to the Chicago Cubs. And he re-signed Shota Imanaga, added Edward Cabrera in that big trade with the Marlins. But when you have so much of what they put on this team or built this team and went into last year was about Kyle Tucker and maybe Kyle Tucker staying around, it just seems less likely than ever now. And if you right now, I would say it's lateral, but if you don't get Kyle Tucker, you still had a good offense. You had a really good offense. But who's the real PCA? Is it the guy who just couldn't get out or the guy who couldn't get on? That's a big thing. And I think Kyle Tucker or just someone of that kind of import in the lineup is huge. And so that's kind of like I'm still kind of saying we're lateral on them. But I could see it going, like, if they get Kyle Tucker back, they're maybe a little better with the rotation, but and you have a good rotation. They're going to have a good rotation regardless. So I don't see them as that much better.
No, and they're still good. I think they still have a good club, but the addition of Edward Cabrera is huge for them. And getting Imanaga to re-sign, but what else are they going to have?
Right.
I think at the end of the day, Kyle Tucker is not going to sign back with the Cubs. I feel like Kyle Tucker he's a Tampa guy, grew up in Florida. He wants to be closer to home, I would imagine. And that's kind of been the talk from other people that I've been in contact with. Like, this guy doesn't. I mean, he loves baseball. Don't get me wrong, but he's okay being at home. He's made a lot of money, and how much is enough? How much is he of a discount will he take to stay home, to stay close to home?
Right, and also with a good team. So that is part of it. I think if he wanted to be back with the Cubs, he'd be back with the Cubs already. Kind of like Kyle Schwarber.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. I think if he really loved Chicago that much and as good as they were and as close as they were, then he would have signed already. But I don't see them getting Kyle Tucker back. He's not going to be a Cub next year.
So and if they don't, like, that team's not as good. He's a good player, that's a reason he's going to get a lot of money.
Right. Well, and they're going to have to try to find somebody that has the plate discipline that he has, that the on-base percentage that he has, and it's going to be hard to find. But PCA is going to have to mature a little bit and maybe become more of that guy to lean on.
All right, we got one more, and for the first time in a long time, we're really interesting. The Pittsburgh Pirates, like, they're the easiest to go. They've gotten a lot better. Brendan Lau, Ryan O'Hearn, Johnston Garcia, I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure how to. I should have talked to our Red Sox people. Like, they've done a really nice job, and this is a team that already had pitching, and they needed to add some offense, and they've done that. And I think they're going to be a really fun team to watch, Danny. Like, I don't know. Like, we were just talking about fun teams. I think they could be fun and pretty good, and especially in this division.
Yeah, and I love that they are trying to get better where they need to get better, because you got a guy like Paul Skeens that's leading this rotation, and you have a big crowd every fifth day that he pitches. You need to bring some excitement those other days too. And now you defensive guys in O'Hearn and Lau, but like I love the Gregory Soto addition in the bullpen too. Like this dude's got a phenomenal arm. So they're obviously got some pieces now that they're trying to get better, and you love to see that. So, and you love to see what they're doing with a minimal amount of salary or availability that they have. You know, they're a small market team, and they don't usually go out and spend money, but they're out trying to improve their team. And just those two guys, O'Hearn and Lau, is huge. I don't think anybody expected them to go out and get a couple players like that.
Yeah, no, I think it's been pretty impressive. Like, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, Hearn was a guy that was mentioned with the Reds quite a bit as a pretty good fit, and you can see why. If I'm the Reds, I don't give the kind of money that the Pirates did for him, but I love that the Pirates did. They had money to give, so it is interesting to me. I think they're a team on the rise. You know, they also have Connor Griffin, who might be the best prospect in the game. Shortstop is going to come into camp and could be there as soon as this year, and maybe even opening day. Who knows? That's a really interesting team. You know, I always kind of joke about this division, Danny, that almost every year there's one team like that you can see finishing either first but not last, and one team that you can finish seeing last but not first, and then you just jumble the rest. And so I think the Cardinals are that team that you can't see finishing any first, and maybe the Brewers are the team you can't see finishing last. But other than that,
it's up.
And I don't even know if the Brewers are that team. You know, maybe the Cubs, but like the Brewers, you just give them the benefit of the doubt. But otherwise, I could see any of those. I can see any of the five teams finishing fourth. I can see any of the five teams finishing second.
Yeah, flip a coin. Which team is going to show up this year? Because I think you're exactly right. It's always been like that in this division, and by the time the trade deadline comes, a lot of these teams in this division also don't go out and make splashes to make their team humongously better. So it's definitely up for grabs for anybody. That's why it's like mind-boggling to me that no team yet to this point has, well, except the Pirates, but I think has exceptionally got any better or have tried to get exceptionally better.
Right. Like one team's gotten and tried to get worse, and one team's tried to get better.
Yeah, one team in this division is really tried to get better so far, and it's the team that probably nobody expected.
Well, the team that, in fairness, needed to do the most to get better. And then the Cardinals didn't have to do much to get worse, but they've done it. Congratulations.
Yeah, who would have thunk? Like, let's try to get as bad as we can get, so that maybe they're trying to tank. They're tanking.
See, but tanking is like, I don't know that like nobody's doing that anymore. You know,
right?
It just doesn't, and that's a result of, well, baseball didn't want tanking, so they kind of put the rules, you know, to change it, and so not as much tanking, but hey, that's good for us, you know. The competitive baseball, is great. You know, the Dodgers are what the Dodgers are, but like, you know, other than that, it's not like the Yankees ran away with it, or the Red Sox, or there's, you know, everybody said when Steve Cohen bought the Mets that, it's all over, and it's not. It's not. The Reds were in the playoffs last year, and the Mets were not.
Right. And just because the Dodgers spend a ton of money doesn't mean that's why they're in the playoffs every year. Yes, it helps that you can get certain players, but they also do things the right way.
They do everything right, not just spending the money. And when they do spend the money, they spend it on the right people. They draft well, they trade well, they develop well. I think so much is overlooked because of the payroll that people don't give them credit for all the things they do right. I mean, and this is what happened when they hired Friedman. Everyone said, "Uh-oh, you're going to have a team that does things right like the Rays, but also has money." And it's kind of borne out that way.
Yeah, and outsiders don't realize that you can spend money on all these players, but what happens every time the Dodgers lose some guys to injuries or whatever? Next man up. I know people don't like that saying, but it's next man up. Dodgers always have that because of the way that they develop their players. They have all these pitchers in the minor leagues that are ready when needed, and that they help them get over the hump. So, spend money or not, if you do things the right way in other parts of your organization, you can compete.
And that's honestly like when you talk about like trading the Reds trading Hunter Green again, just silly made up stuff. Now, like if they give him Shohei, yeah, sure, but like that is the Reds can't supplement that with money, so they have to have the Rhett Lauder, Chase Burns, one of those guys starting in AAA. They have to have Brandon Williamson, Chase Petty, those guys getting close to being able to be ready that if a Hunter Green or Brady Singer or Nick Lodolo goes down, that's where they go. Yeah. That is, it's I don't know that it's ever been if you have 5 starters, you're good, but it's certainly not that way anymore. With I think what I wrote the other day, I guess it was in my Hall of Fame explainer, which should come out next week. But like, when you look at just the way the game has changed over the last several years, like basically what I said when I was looking at this was, I don't know yet how to look at that era's starting pitchers and really understand, because it used to be like 300 wins, 3,000 strikeouts, sub 300. You're going to get that. Well, nobody's getting 300 wins. Here it is. Right. So I've been a member of the BBWA since 2005. In 2005, there were 4 pitchers who won 20 games and 50 pitchers who finished with at least 200 innings. Nobody won 20 games last year. Max Fried won 19, and he led everybody in the majors. How many pitchers do you think logged 200 innings last year?
Less than 5.
Yeah, 3.
Is it 3? Oh my gosh! But if you said name them, I couldn't name them.
Yeah. Neither could I, and I don't have that research back up because I just looked at my story I wrote. I don't have the research who those 3 guys were, but it was, that's just not a lot. The game is different now. So how do you? Again, that was about a whole different thing. But like when you're talking about, Burley, Hamels, Hernandez, Pettit, those guys, they're all kind of. I'm not sure how we're judging pitchers in the 21st century, and it's or a pitcher's career, starting pitcher's career in the 21st century, just because the 300 game winner is, if it comes back, it's not anytime soon. Right.
I think it's 4 2/3. If you're a starting pitcher, you go 4 2/3. And that's it. There's got to be some. Maybe I'll try to do this for next time, or just for my own sanity. How many pitchers went 4 2/3 innings in their starts this year? Because I feel like that's the cutoff. Nobody gets to go 5 innings hardly unless you're dominating. 4 2/3, get them out.
And you could get the matchup and not have to get 3 outs.
Yes, exactly. So you can really just pitch to the one lefty, pitch to the one lefty, and inning over, bring somebody else in.
Yep.
So I just looked up the 3 guys who threw 200 innings last year. I never would have guessed these 3. You ready for them?
Yep.
Logan Webb.
Yeah, that one I would have guessed probably. I mean, that's what he does. He would have
been my top. Yeah, thinking about it now, I would have said Tariq Skubal, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Max Fried, but neither one of them. So Garrett Crochet is second with 205. Christopher Sanchez with Philly had 202.
Yeah.
Like, 3 guys.
Mm-hmm.
When you said in 2005 there was 50.
Mm-hmm. Like Jamie Moyer threw 200 innings that year.
Oh my gosh! And he was like 62 years old that year, probably.
Yeah.
So the year I started, and I don't remember I made my last start in end of July, maybe beginning of August, and I had 160 something innings. So I went almost a whole month of not starting and still had 160 plus innings. So it's like now that's probably the average for a starter in a full season.
That's a good season. Like, you consider that guy like having a very good season. Just being able to throw that much. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of value in 160 innings.
Yeah.
But of course, it's not all about like the ability to do it, because Danny Graves had the ability to do it. But like in today's game, you wouldn't get that shot.
Exactly.
So,
and people downplay the wins, but 4 2/3, the guys winning after 4 2/3, they got to be like a little bit upset that they get taken out. Let me try to get just one out, just one more out.
Yeah, because wins still get you paid.
Yes, even though they say wins don't matter, but at the end of the season,
when they say don't matter, it's saying it is a bad way to judge the effectiveness or value of a player. But yeah,
I get it. But if you have 19 wins like Max Fried did, you could generally say that he had a pretty good year.
Yes, yeah. But you don't have to have 19 wins to say that you had a pretty good year, because you could have a really good year and be 9-9 these days.
Well, Jacob deGrom won a Cy Young with 10 or 11 wins.
Felix Hernandez,
yeah.
Like what was Skeens' record this year, and he was a no doubt. He was a no doubt
10
Cy
and
Young.
10.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
And like nobody bats an eye. Like, oh yeah, of course he was a Cy Young winner. He should be.
Right. But I think people understand if he was on a team that won a lot, he probably would have been a 20-game winner.
Oh yeah, I think he gave him a chance in more than 20 games. Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Well, cool. Danny, that's going to be it for us. Looking forward to next week. And at the end of next week is Reds Fest with one Danny Graves attending, which is pretty exciting.
Hanging out with Trent Rosecrans. Everybody should come and like see us and tell us how much they love our show and all that.
Yeah. Both of them. Yep. They can come up to us. Both fans.
Yeah. Hey, nice hat, by the way.
Yeah, you too. We did not plan this, because if I probably should have just like changed hats real quick once I saw you had it on. So.
No.
I don't like matchy.
You don't? What about this?
Yeah. We're team players, though. Oh, you got the shirt on. Look at you. I did not. I was sent the shirt as well. I do not have it on. And I'm not going to stand up, because then you would know whether I'm wearing pants or not.
I like the wondering.
I want mystery. That's what we're here for.
Mystery. Yeah.
Mystery.
Yes, of course.
So, anyway. Riverfront Territory is part of the Foul Territory Network. Please subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Please also rate and review us, and if you enjoy it. And hey, let your friends know. If I know there's some people who are probably like, hey, where do you get your Red stuff? Mention Foul Territory or Riverfront Territory. Yeah, I was trying to go through all of them, and just let them know about us. So until next week, for my co-host Danny Graves, I am Trent Rosecrans. Thanks for joining us.